Sean, I wonder if you might start by giving us a word on the news we've just had from Dennis Law announcing that he's suffering with mixed dementia. It's another one of the great strikers and players of that era, I suppose, to have had such a diagnosis. I mean, I don't know if you have any memories of watching him, probably not live, but, you know, as a player and what he's done for the game.
I haven't, no, but all of the legendary stories about him as a player, you know, from your dad and stuff like that of my generation. But no, that's all I know of him, you know, as that side of things. But no, I've literally learned that as I've walked in here now. So obviously we can only hope that it's better news rather than worse for him.
Could I ask you about your squad and the fitness this week? I know you had that behind closed doors friendly against Manchester United. How useful was that? What was the kind of thinking behind that for getting the players prepared and the fitness levels?
Well, to be honest, it's just a case if you come out the back of pre-season, there's always players who've, you know, missed a little bit or missed a game here and there. We want true sharpness. I get on well with a couple of the Man United lads. They made it clear they were going to play a very strong side, which they did. We topped up our side because obviously we've got a smaller squad with a few of the youngsters, but they had a really good experience. I thought they went about it very well, actually. I was at the game and I thought both teams went about it well, and I was pleased with our players.
The obligatory question at this time of the year, recruitment, any movement since we last spoke to you, closer to any arrivals? Do you expect any more arrivals at this stage?
Not at the moment. I'm waiting on news on, you know, possible situations, but there's nothing, certainly I haven't been told of anything that's imminent. So I shall wait. You know, we know there's a few things that we're attempting to work on, but there's a few things that have got away from us. So far, the usual kind of situation we find ourselves in.
I know that you spoke about this after the game at the weekend, the fans booing the taking of the knee again, or a section of them. Spoke to Ben Mee earlier on today, the captain. He kind of expressed his disappointment. He was fairly downbeat, I think, about having to reiterate again the reasons why the players are doing it. I mean, is there anything more, do you think, at this stage the club can do to try and let those people know that are making this stance against an anti-racist gesture?
I mean, after the game, I tried to make it clear, you know, that I think it's very difficult. The education is out there. Everyone's trying to educate. But I thought the BBC reported it well on my behalf, where they said I made it quite clear that the fans' applause outweighed the boos considerably. And I think that's important to remember, because that's certainly my belief in it. You know, we want the awareness. We've all got older. We've all got wiser. We're all getting more and more educated about these things. Alongside that, it's very difficult to get everyone's opinion to align constantly across the whole planet, you know, and everyone's trying. And I made it clear my thoughts on it, and it was reported very well by the BBC in making that clear. You know, the applause far outweighed any boos. The feeling in the stadium was a positive one about that situation, including mine.
So are those fans then that do continue to boo and do persist with that, are they welcome then by the club?
I don't think it's about being welcome or not welcome. It's just the fact is that if you imagine the same difference, although on a less serious level, and I'm not making light of it, but you know, there is a certain amount of stick that I get, you know, and you can imagine what kind of stick for what reason. The point is, how do you control every person who gives you stick? Are we going to control them as well and their opinions of me, even though they don't know me at all, they don't know anything about me at all? It's fair to say they share their opinions of me. So, like I said, I'm not making light of it, but my point is that how do you control every single person in a football stadium? I think it's difficult. All we can do as a club and all we can do as people, football players, football managers, is keep reinforcing the positive message. And I think, as I said, I think it was reported very fairly by the BBC when they made it clear of my words. The applause far outweighed any boos.
I suppose, though, you do control fans to a certain extent, don't you? I mean, if any fan was found guilty of making a racist remark or a racist gesture, they would be kind of prosecuted. I mean, does this not fall under a similar kind of thing?
If it does, that's up to the club. It's up to the powers that be. It's up to the authorities. It's very difficult, you know, and I'm standing on the sidelines trying to win a football match. It is very difficult to offer some way of imagining how I can control all of them people. So I think there's plenty of different powers at a football club who can take care of that, and that's their job, of course.
And just finally then, looking ahead to the game at Anfield, I mean, you've had a couple of good results there, not least that win last season. I mean, what do you kind of take away from that game, that performance? And does it give you kind of optimism that you can repeat the same thing again?
I don't think it makes you more optimistic. The last one doesn't know you the next one, that's for sure. I think they had their first tricky spell. We caught them at a very good time, I felt, at that period, and we played very well, don't get me wrong. And I've said many, many times when you play the top clubs, that's the equation you need. You need them to maybe just have a little soft one, a little soft performance, you to play very well, sometimes a decision, sometimes the ball bounces the right way. On that day, it did for us. But there's no thinking that one is going to make sure that we win again there. We'll have to have the same equation. They'll probably have to have a little bit of a soft one. We play very, very well.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Katie Shanahan from PLP. Hi, Katie.
Hello, hi Sean, how you doing?
Hiya.
Just a bit on team news. Do you have a rough timescale on when both Kevin Long and Dale Stephens might be back from injury?
No, I don't really do timescales because injuries, they're tricky things, and sometimes the body heals quickly, sometimes it doesn't. So we're just giving them time, and hopefully they'll get fit sooner rather than later.
As for the new signings, how are they settling in?
All two of them, they're settling pretty well. Wayne Hensey, obviously, he's a well-known figure, and he's settled in, very quickly, very simply. Nathan's doing a nice job. I'm really impressed with him, how he is as a person, and I think that's important at our club. The way he conducts himself. He's got a thirst to improve, which we really enjoy, and he's fitting in nicely.
And ahead of Liverpool at the weekend, how different will it be this time around? Obviously, you've touched on there, last time you went to Anfield, you beat them 1-0. But this time, it'll be the first time in 17 months that Anfield will be full of fans. How much of a difference will that make?
Well, I think to football at large, everyone's happy with the fans being back in the stadium. I think we all know that. And then to them, I mean, look, they've always got a good fan base when they're in, obviously. They do protect their team often. They do get behind their team. So I wouldn't expect anything less. We're used to that across the Premier League. They do stand by their team, and most fans do. So I think our players should be looking forward to the fact that there are people back in stadiums. And I think that's going to be the key from our point of view and getting on with the game.
And just finally from me, what would constitute success for Burnley this season?
Well, I think overall, trying to build on last season, a very, very tricky season, keeping players fit, working very hard as we always do, earning the right to be in the Premier League and go beyond that. Can we build on last season? 39 points, one of our softer seasons, but still stayed in the Premier League against a lot of odds, or a lot of people's opinions actually, and left the season pretty healthy as regards the points, considering the challenges. Now, can we build on that? Can we move that forwards?
Great, thanks very much, Sean. Good luck at the weekend.
Thank you. Thanks.
Hello, Clarets fans. Phil Bird here. Make sure you subscribe to Burnley's official YouTube channel and turn on notifications. Otherwise, you might miss moments like this. Oh, what a goal! And Wood was there to finish it.
You're just spitting Glenn Little, look at us.
Enjoy the video, and we look forward to seeing you at the next one. Up the Clarets.